Good evening, viewers. Today, we all are present with a lovely discussion based on a topic. The topic we know very well that LOVE, love. So, now let me take based on a topic format the power of love. So, what exactly the power of the love, this particular sentence or the word called LOVE, it helps in between two people.
Now, whether we'll take love as an acronym for loss of vital energy or lots of vital energy, that matters a lot.
Okay.
There are some people who think LOVE stands for loss of vital energy. And yet there are some other people who feel that no, LOVE stands for lots of vital energy. Now, whether we'll take it positively or negatively is up to you. When you are thinking of love, if you think that love means all lust, LUST, then love will not be able to do much to you. Perhaps love will not be able to bring about a whole lot of change in you positively, and it will incite some sort of lustfulness in you, some desire to share your time with a person of the opposite sex in order to enjoy the thrilling part of it. But if you think that no, love means, of course, lots of vital energy, there you will see that you will get a kind of energy, source of energy. Love will give you a source of energy. Love will become a source of energy to you. Now, when you love somebody, if you love unconditionally, if there are conditions, then that love is very narrow-ended. You want certain conditions to be fulfilled in order to love and to be loved. But when you know that no, there is no condition at all, I simply want to love and I don't want anything in return. And at that time only perhaps you get the full potential benefit of love. I feel so.
Okay, let's thrust out more on this discussion. Just because this love, many people they have transferred to be a word called to a word called passionate about it, passion for. So now, is there any gain whenever a person is deep into love of an object, not a person? So can it possible to transfer getting something or achieving something?
When you are loving a certain thing, you want that thing to be yours. And that is the problem. Whenever you want something to be ours only, and in a narrow sense, say you love gold, you want gold to be yours. And if you find gold with some other person, you feel very envious. Why? Because you want to possess that gold, whereas you see that instead of you, somebody else has got that gold in his or her possession. And at the time, you feel a bit dejected, you feel depressed, and you try your best, you put up a devil of a fight in order to get the goal, and in doing so, sometimes you do not know where to stop. And if you do not know where to stop, then you are going to do certain things which may land you in the soup.
Now let's take the opposite way that the love opposite we know very well the hate, H-A-T-E, hate. So now whenever the contradictory part comes between two people, so at the time most of the cases we find the love, L-O-V, very well applies in the format of getting something or making understanding someone, to make somebody understand I mean. Whereas the hate is not at all going to workable.
You don't need to make anybody understand anything. Simply love. Your purpose, your main aim in life is to love. And if you think that I want to love passionately without any conditions imposed on that love, I don't want anything in return. That may be anybody for that matter. That may be a human being, that may be a pet which you have, or that may even be any child, that may be God even. So when we love God without any expectation, and we don't want God to shower us with a lot of wealth, not necessary for us to have a lot of wealth, but we want to love God. Say, God, you say that you love God. God, I love you. Now, if God appears before you and asks you, son, I have come before you. What do you want from me? You will get a little puzzled at the time because you will not understand what you should ask for, because you know whatever you ask for will be given by Him, because nothing is impossible for God. But if you truly love God, you will say that God, I want nothing from you but yourself. I want you, or I want nothing. God says to you, why do you pray to me? Why do you meditate on me? I have come now. Say what you want. God, I want nothing from you. Then why are you praying to me? I want you only. And then you understand that God becomes yours. By God, I mean an object of pursuit, a person of pursuit. That may be any human being, even. Now, say you are in love with a human being, you are in love with a girl. Now, you want the girl to satisfy your tastes. If the girl does not satisfy your tastes, you feel repugnant, you feel a little angry, and you sometimes feel that perhaps you have made a wrong choice, she is not your type, and such things. But if you love somebody for the sake of loving only, and you want to see that person happy, under all circumstances, even if you see that girl is happy with some other man, and she wears a smiling face when she is in the company of some other man, you feel very happy, you feel very glad. And that's not a kind of happiness only, that's a kind of bliss. That is what I want. I want to see her smiling. And God has fulfilled my desire. I can see her smiling. I don't want her to be mine. But she should be as she is, but she should be happy.
Now it is very common thing that whenever we are going to face the what called the love, it's very common tendency love gives the birth to the temptation. Love, the word gives the birth to some expectation. So now can it possible for the human being, just because we all are living in the materialistic world, not the spiritual world. So being in the materialistic world, can it possible for common human being to control or to set their mind?
That's possible, and that has been made possible by a lot of people. And these people perhaps are known as great men, great people rather. And I think that if it was possible for them, why not for us? But we should try our best. We have to work hard for that. It is not that it will be given to you on a silver platter, that you will just stretch your hands out and you will get it. You have to put in some effort for that. And what is that effort? Do you have to go to the gym for that? Do you have to go to the multinational company for that? No, nothing of that sort. Simply, you have to start practicing internally. That yes, I want nothing from this world. I want nothing from any human being. But I want to see this world happy. I want to see all the human beings inhabiting the face of this planet smiling all the time.
But how is possible for the common human being to know exactly where from they will learn or where from they will get the exact source of the knowledge?
All these great men of whom I was talking a few minutes ago have come from the commoners. It is not that they were born that way. Though some people say that these great men were not great only because they tried, but they were born great, and therefore it was possible for them to reach such a height. But if you and I try, we cannot reach that height. I do not want to argue with them, because this is not a matter of argument. By arguing with somebody, you cannot, of course, draw any conclusion. Therefore, you just start meditating. Introspection is very important. You have to feel from within. Say, you don't need to tell anybody that you will love everybody unconditionally. You start doing this. That particularly from this very moment, start doing that. Start practicing that. That is, I say, you just select a certain individual living in your society who there's a hostile attitude towards you. Okay, you don't need to let that person know that you are practicing something internally. You simply start sending love vibes to that individual. Just start doing that from this very moment. And after a certain length of time, you will see that there is a whole lot of change brought about in the attitude of that individual. Even you will see that he is not behaving towards you so antagonistically. You will not understand. He will also not understand why, but he will suddenly feel a little drawn towards you. He will feel that no, this man is harmless. I unnecessarily criticize him adversely. It's not necessary. He is generally doing no harm to anybody at all.
That means you want to mean the religion should be someone like an addicted person with the addicted things, the way get attracts.
It's a kind of yes, a kind of addiction grows afterwards. And initially, you have to practice a little consciously. It is not that all of a sudden you start feeling that way. Say initially when you start this practice, you will see that to a great extent your mind says something else. Your mind says that no, that man criticizes you adversely, so you don't need to love that person.
Okay, over here I would like to cut it short a bit as we have already talked about the mind. It's a very common tendency of the human beings whenever somebody tells in a hush way something very natural, we also like to repeat in a same manner. So is there any controller by which we can control ourselves that instead of replying in a same manner, we need to reply in our own way, applying the very suitable words in the name of love?
That is automatic. That will become automatic. Whenever you start this process, you start practicing love towards every individual, your behavior will bear testimony to it. And you will see that in your vocabulary also, there is a change brought about. Then you are not, of course, using any harsh word when you are talking about somebody, because you know that this harsh word will simply obstruct your mission, your purpose, because your mission is to love. So when you love somebody or when you love a lot of people, you don't talk caustically about them. Even if there is a minor slip on their part, you try to connive at that. You try to overlook that. Why? Because you know that that's a common slip up on his or her part. I need not take it into so serious consideration. And that thought, of course, comes up from within very spontaneously.
But in our society, we see just opposite picture. So at that particular point in time, how a person, that may be a boy, that may be a girl, need to create the mindset, because this creating mindset matters a lot.
To a certain extent, this depends on the family background you belong to. Say your parents are very religiously inclined, and they know very well that hatred is a sin, and they don't hate anybody. So, since your very childhood, you have grown up seeing your parents sending love vibes to everybody, to all the neighbors, to all the members of the family, to your relatives, to your friends, and everybody. So this is to a certain extent contagious. When you see your parents behaving this way, you very naturally get this from them by osmosis, as it were. Osmotically, you absorb that from your parents, and you also start doing the same. That's why we always talk about the family background. We always say that this person has a good family background. Why do we use this phrase, a good family background, a bad family background? Why do we use these words? Just because your family has a direct impact on your behavior, on your manners, on your vocabulary, on your interaction with the society. So that's why you should start at home when a child grows up, when a child is in the process of growing. And afterwards, the child should be, when the child grows up, the child will automatically feel inclined towards books that talk about this, because he or she can resonate with what is written in the book. because the childhood experience makes him or her do that.
Okay.
And that's why it is very important for us to train our parents first. That generally what we see in our society, we see selfishness. What sort of selfishness? Say, parents are teaching their children to compete with their friends. They're going to say that they have to be better than their friends. So whenever you inject the idea of being better than somebody else, then there a kind of unhealthy competition grows, a sense of unhealthy competition grows in the mind of that individual. And whenever this sense grows in you, you are sending negative vibes, negative energy to all those people whom you feel that you are competing with.
Okay, now in this context, as we know very well that whenever we like something, we start loving the thing. So, is there any correlation between like and the love, these two words in between each other?
So to a great extent there is, and so you will like everything that is created by God. So every human. That's why I have said already that you should be religiously inclined. If not religiously inclined, you may be a little allergic to the word religious. So at least you should be a little spiritually inclined, not all the time materially. If you are materially inclined, then you will feel that you will try to keep up with the Joneses, and you will see that your neighbor has bought an apartment in a posh area, and you will also plan to do the same in order to beat your neighbor. And that's why I'm saying that then you will start disliking your neighbor. But when you know that you don't have anybody to compete with, because you are simply there to serve the purpose of God. So whatever you are doing because you are assigned to that task by the Almighty. So if this thought germinates in your mind, be sure the rest will take care of itself. You don't need to do anything. My suggestion to our friends, read a lot of books on positivity, on positive energy. Don't think harshly about others, because when you are thinking harshly about others, you are sending negative vibes to that person, and very naturally you will see that that person to whom you are sending these negative vibes will also become hostile to you, antagonistic to you, and you will feel that there is a kind of invisible tension between the two of you. But if you do just the opposite, instead of sending negative vibes, if you start sending love vibes, love energy to that person, then just the opposite happens. If the person unnecessarily starts loving you, and you are not expecting that, of course. I'm not saying that with that expectation you should start loving somebody, then that is, of course, conditional. That I'm loving that person because I want that person to love me. That is very much conditional. But when it is unconditional, I don't want that person to love me, nor do I want the person to hate me. I have no thought about what the person will do, but I want to love that person, whatever he does. Even if anybody comes to me and says that, do you know that man, that friend of yours was talking negatively about you, criticizing you, and disparaging you in public. When I was on my way to your house, I heard that person maligning your image. And you get furious. No, you should not get furious at the time. You should say that, oh, he has said so. However, he has thought that way. He has considered me worthy, worthy is not the right word here. I think it is better to say unworthy of love. That's why he is sending the negative energy to me. But I feel a kind of love towards him. I want to love him. So this feeling is to be cultivated. And once you are successful in cultivating this feeling, you will have no ill feelings towards anybody. You will have no malice towards anybody at all. And everybody will become your friend because you are everyone's well-wisher.
Now, in this context, I would like to know the company matters a lot to be follow this method to love everyone, whether the person loves me or not. I am not going to keep any terms and condition in between me and the loving person. So in this case, the company how much plays a very vital role. The company may we keep in our family, the company may we keep in between our friend groups, so that doesn't matter, but company how much plays a very vital role.
A man is known by the company he keeps. This is a very common adage, a proverb, and so everybody knows that the company plays a very vital role in the shaping of a person's character. If you always keep company with the jealous people, with the envious people, then very naturally their energy to a certain extent will be injected into you imperceptibly. You will not feel that it is
But
happening.
gradually.
Yes, that will happen, but you don't feel it. That's why I'm using the adverb imperceptibly. And then you also tend to do the same as your friends are doing, as your company is doing. Okay, therefore it is necessary for you to keep company with the people, positive-minded people, and always you should not, of course, feel that no, this is a bad person, I'm not going to mix with him. Then you are sending negative energy to that person. So think that okay, all right, he is also a good man, but I want to love him from a distance. Why? I want to love him after all. After all, my mission is to love. So I love him. Whether I love him from afar or from very close, I mean, being very close to him or not, that is different. I'm not talking about that. I'm simply willing to love everybody. So whoever be that, even you know that there are many people, there are many religious people who have proved this. Like you have heard of Jogai Madai, the Mahaprabhu's these companions. So they were also loved by him, that holy man. Even we know very well, Ma Sharda once told that Sharad is my son and Amjad is also my son. Amjad was in fact a robber, but still mother told that even if the son is not very quote unquote good, mother does not refuse to love that son. Mother loves. And if the son is very good, quote unquote, I'm using the word good, then of course, mother says that I love my son and I love both my sons equally. Mother's love cannot be
Partially to
yes, that's right, exactly. You cannot actually quantify, you cannot measure the intensity of the love. The love is there for all the children. So it is somewhat like you just start regarding yourself as a God's boy. Say you are God's child, and you know that I am also God's child equally. So you know I am your brother. So whenever you feel that we two have come from the same source, and that is God. So God is our Father. Therefore we are brothers. And Jesus Christ has said that one who cannot love one's brother cannot love God. You are saying that I love God, but you hate your own brother. So if you hate your brother whom you can see in flesh and blood, how can you love God whom you have not seen? That's why it is important for us to start loving everybody. Of course, internally you don't need to do anything for that. It is not that you have to buy expensive gifts for them, nothing of that sort. You don't need to do anything at all externally, but internally you just feel the love for
the cultivation of the love required to cultivate.
exactly. And you may start this process just from this day. It is somewhat, let's say this whole world is our laboratory and you are a scientist, you want to experiment. So start doing this from today. I tell you also, my dear friends, trust me, start doing this. See, at least for 1 month, 2 months, practice this way and see if you get any result. It is all right. You don't need to thank me for that. Because I'm not going to get any thanks from anybody, and this is not my expectation, of course. I want to see that the world is a better place for all of us to live in, and especially the next generation. That will be a happy place. This world will, of course, be a very attractive place for everyone. Okay?
So I think that today we have shared our opinions.
That's
Now
right.
rest of the things, so let it expect from our viewers
Right.
what they are expecting based on this. The exactly what is the power of the love in their opinions.
Leave your well balanced comments in the comment section and enrich us. Okay, we shall be very glad to see your comments. Looking forward to seeing you in our next video session. Thank you. Bye bye.
Jakarta, back in that place. That's the stage. That's the stage.